Welcome to our channel, Crime Loom, the place where true crime stories come alive. The town of Willow Creek looks peaceful. Quiet streets, friendly smiles, and the sound of the river running through its heart. But beneath that calm lies something dark. When Detective Lena Hart arrives to solve the murder of the town's librarian, she soon learns that everyone here is hiding something. Whispers follow her wherever she goes, and the closer she gets to the truth, the more dangerous the town becomes. Some secrets were meant to stay buried, but in Willow Creek, the past refuses to stay silent. The bus stopped in front of the small station at Willow Creek. The morning air was cold and the sky was pale gray. A soft mist covered the streets, and only a few people were outside. Detective Lena Hart stepped off the bus, holding a small brown suitcase in one hand and her coat in the other. Her eyes moved slowly across the quiet town. Willow Creek looked peaceful, but Lena had learned that quiet towns often hid the darkest secrets. The people smiled too little. The streets were too empty. The air felt heavy, like something was waiting to be found. She walked down the main road. A sign at the corner said, "Welcome to Willow Creek," but the paint was peeling, and one side of the sign was cracked. The wind blew lightly, making it creak. A stray dog crossed the road and stopped to stare at her before running into an alley. Lena's shoes made soft sounds on the wet ground. It had rained the night before, and puddles still reflected the cloudy sky. On her left, she saw a bakery with fogged-up windows. The smell of bread drifted out when someone opened the door. A few people were sitting inside, drinking coffee, their voices low. They looked at her when she passed, but quickly looked away. Across from the bakery was a flower shop. The owner, an older woman with gray hair, was sweeping petals off the porch. She looked up and froze when she saw Lena. Then she smiled, a quick, nervous smile, and went back to sweeping. Lena knew that kind of smile. It meant people were afraid to talk. She reached the small inn near the town square. It was an old wooden building with white paint that had turned yellow in spots. A sign over the door said Willow Inn. Inside, it smelled like lemon soap and old wood. The woman at the desk had kind eyes but spoke little. "You must be Detective Hart," she said softly. "Yes," Lena said, setting her suitcase down. "Room ready?" The woman nodded. "Upstairs, second door on the right. The room looks over the library." Lena paused. "That's where it happened, right?" The woman looked down. "Yes, poor Miss Marsh." Lena waited, but the woman said nothing else. She just handed over the key and looked away. Upstairs, the room was small but clean. A single bed, a wooden chair, and a desk near the window. When Lena pulled back the curtain, she could see the library across the street. Police tape still hung across the front door, moving slightly in the wind. She stared at it for a long time. Evelyn Marsh, the town's librarian, had been found dead inside 3 nights ago. Everyone said she was kind. Everyone said she had no enemies. But Lena had learned that every kind person had someone who envied them, and every town had a truth it wanted to hide. She unpacked her things, then took out her notebook. On the first page, she wrote, "Evelyn Marsh, age 42, librarian, found dead inside Willow Creek Library. Cause, blunt force trauma. Time, around 11:30 p.m., 3 nights ago. No forced entry. No missing items. Suspect unknown." She closed the notebook and took a deep breath. The sound of rain began again, soft against the window. At noon, she went out. The library doors were locked, but a deputy stood nearby. He looked young, barely 20. He straightened when he saw her. "Detective Hart," he said quickly. "Sheriff said you'd be coming." "Good," Lena said. "I'd like to look inside." He hesitated. "It's a mess in there." "I've seen worse," she replied. He unlocked the door, and she stepped inside. The air inside the library was cold and smelled of dust and old paper. The lights were dim. Books were scattered across the floor near the front desk, where the struggle had happened. A dark stain marked the carpet. Lena walked slowly, her eyes scanning everything. She noticed a shelf had been pushed over, but nothing was missing. "It looked staged. Too neat to be random. Who found her?" Lena asked. "Her assistant," the deputy said. "A girl named Anna. She comes every morning at 8. She said the door wasn't locked when she arrived." "So Evelyn didn't lock up?" Lena asked. "Guess not," he said. Lena bent down near the desk. There was a small wooden box, half open, with papers inside. She looked closer and found a folded page. It looked like a letter but had no name. It only said, "If they find out what's hidden near the river, everything will end." Lena read it twice. Then she folded it and placed it in an evidence bag. "Deputy," she said, "has anyone checked the river?" He shook his head. "No one mentioned it." "Then we'll start there tomorrow." That night, Lena went back to the inn. The wind had picked up, and the sound of thunder rolled in the distance. At dinner, a few people sat in the dining room: farmers, a teacher, the shopkeeper from the bakery. Their voices dropped when she walked in. She sat at a table alone, ate quietly, and listened. "I told her not to go digging," one man whispered. "She always wanted to know too much," said another. The woman from the flower shop said softly, "She was trying to help the town. She didn't deserve that." Then they all went silent when they saw Lena looking at them. Later, in her room, she took out the letter again. The words felt heavier now. Something hidden near the river. Maybe it was a clue, or maybe it was the reason Evelyn died. She couldn't sleep. Around midnight, she put on her coat and stepped outside. The rain had stopped and the streets were empty. The river ran behind the old mill, quiet and dark. Lena followed the narrow path beside it. Her flashlight lit the muddy ground. The air smelled of wet leaves. Then, near the edge, she saw something strange. An old signpost with the words, "No trespassing." The ground near it looked freshly dug, as if someone had buried something there. She knelt and brushed away the dirt with her hand. Her fingers touched metal. She cleared more until she uncovered a small rusted box. She lifted it out of the ground. It was heavy and locked, but the lock was weak. She broke it open with a small tool from her coat pocket. Inside were old photographs. The first showed 3 men standing by a house that looked burned. The second showed a little girl with a scar across her cheek. The third had something written on the back in faded ink. "The price of silence." Lena stared at the photos. The sound of the river grew louder, or maybe it was just her heartbeat. She felt the first real chill of fear. Not for herself, but for what this meant. She put the photos back in the box and stood. The wind moved through the trees like a whisper. Somewhere behind her, a door slammed, though no one was there. When she returned to the inn, she locked her door and sat on the bed. She knew one thing for sure now. Evelyn Marsh had not died for nothing. She had found something the town wanted to keep buried, and Lena Hart was going to uncover it, no matter what the people of Willow Creek were hiding. The next morning came with a gray sky and cold air. Mist rose from the river, and the streets of Willow Creek were quiet again. Lena Hart sat by the window of her small inn room, holding a cup of coffee. The metal box sat open on the desk in front of her. The photographs looked even older in daylight. The little girl with the scar seemed to stare back at her like she wanted to say something. Lena had not slept much. She kept thinking about Evelyn Marsh and how she must have found the same box before her death. What did Evelyn know, and who wanted her silent? She put the photos carefully into an envelope, locked the box in her suitcase, and headed downstairs. The woman at the front desk was there again, reading a newspaper. When she saw Lena, she gave a weak smile. "Morning, Detective," she said. "Morning," Lena replied. "Can I ask you something? Did you know Evelyn Marsh well?" The woman nodded slowly. "Everyone did." She was kind. "She helped with the town's reading club and tutored children for free. I never thought anyone would hurt her." "Did she have any enemies?" Lena asked. "Enemies?" The woman shook her head. "Not that I knew, but she had been worried lately. I saw her at the market last week. She said she was looking for something old, something about the town's past. I told her to be careful. She just smiled." "Did she say what she found?" "No," the woman said softly. "Only that she was going to tell the sheriff." The next day she was gone. Lena thanked her and stepped outside. The sky was darker now. It looked like rain again. She walked to the sheriff's office, a small building near the end of Main Street. Inside, Sheriff Tom Dalton sat at his desk reading a file. He was a tall man in his 50s with tired eyes and a rough voice. He looked up when Lena entered. "Detective Hart," he said, standing. "Heard you came in late last night." "Yes," Lena said. I wanted to see the library. I hope you don't mind. He shrugged. It's your case now, though I don't see what else there is to find. We've questioned half the town. I'm sure you have, Lena said calmly. But I think Evelyn found something. Something near the river. The sheriff's face changed slightly. The river? What makes you say that? She left a note, Lena said. It mentioned something hidden near it. The sheriff frowned. There's nothing down there but mud and old fishing nets. You're chasing ghosts, detective. Maybe, Lena said. But sometimes ghosts tell the truth. She watched his face carefully. His jaw tightened for a second, then relaxed. Be careful where you dig, Hart, he said. This town doesn't like people stirring up old stories. I'm not here for stories, she said. I'm here for the truth. She turned and left before he could reply. Outside, the wind was stronger now. Lena pulled her coat tight and headed to the library again. She wanted to talk to Anna, the assistant who had found Evelyn's body. Anna was waiting near the steps. She was a small girl, maybe 20, with short brown hair and nervous eyes. When she saw Lena, she bit her lip. Are you the detective? She asked. Yes, Lena said gently. I just want to ask you a few things. Anna nodded. Okay, they went inside. The police tape was gone now, but the air still felt heavy. Tell me what happened that morning, Lena said. Anna took a deep breath. I came in at 8, like always. The door was unlocked. I thought Miss Marsh was already inside, but when I called her name, no one answered. Then I saw the books on the floor. And her behind the desk. Her voice broke. Lena waited. Did you notice anything strange the day before? Anna hesitated. Yes. She told me she was working on something secret. She said it was important, but she didn't want anyone to know until she was sure. Did she tell you what it was? No. Only that it had to do with the town's history. She was reading old newspapers and letters from when the town was first built. She even borrowed some from the mayor's office. Lena's attention sharpened. The mayor's office? Anna nodded. Yes. She said Mayor Grayson let her look through the old records. But after that, she started getting scared. She said someone was following her. Did she say who? No, Anna whispered. But she said it wasn't safe to walk alone at night. Lena thanked her and stepped outside again. The sky had turned almost black, and thunder rumbled far away. She walked quickly to the mayor's office, a tall brick building near the square. Mayor Edward Grayson was a neat man in his early 60s, with silver hair and a soft smile. He greeted her warmly. Detective Hart, he said, shaking her hand. How can I help? I hear you knew Evelyn Marsh, she said. Of course. A kind woman. The whole town loved her. She was researching the town's history, Lena said. She came here for some old records, didn't she? He paused. Yes, she did. Town founding documents, land records, things like that. We're proud of our history. Did she find anything unusual? He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Unusual? No, not that I know of. Why do you ask? She mentioned she was being followed, Lena said. The mayor looked surprised. Followed? By who? That's what I'm trying to find out. He walked to the window and looked out at the rain starting to fall. Detective, he said slowly, this town has been here for over 100 years. We've had floods, fires, hard times, but we take care of our own. Sometimes people see shadows where there are none. Sometimes, Lena said, and sometimes the shadows are real. The mayor turned and gave her a polite smile again. I hope you find what you're looking for. I will, she said. As she left, she noticed something on his desk, an old black and white photograph in a silver frame. It showed 3 men standing beside a burned house, the same photo she had seen in the box by the river. Her heart beat faster. Outside, she stood under the rain, her thoughts spinning. The mayor had the same photograph. That meant he knew about the box, or maybe he was one of the men in the picture. She went back to her room, her coat soaked through. She laid out the photos again. 3 men, 1 burned house, 1 small child with a scar. On the back of one, the words, "The price of silence." Lena stared at them until her eyes hurt. Someone knocked on her door. She opened it to see Anna standing there, trembling. Detective, Anna whispered. You need to come with me. I found something in the library's basement. Something Evelyn hid. What is it? Lena asked quickly. Anna looked pale. I think it's a diary. They went out into the rain again, running through puddles to the library. The doors creaked open. The basement smelled of dust and damp air. Anna led her to an old wooden box behind a stack of broken chairs. Inside was a small leather book, its cover cracked and faded. Lena opened it carefully. The first page had neat handwriting. "This is Evelyn Marsh's diary. If you are reading this, I am probably dead." Lena felt the chill crawl up her spine. She turned the page. "I found something in the old town files. They lied about the fire. It wasn't an accident. And the people who built this town are not who they seem." Thunder crashed above them. The lights flickered. Anna gasped. Lena looked up, her voice calm but firm. "We're not alone down here," she said. Footsteps echoed from the stairs. The sound of footsteps echoed through the dark basement. Lena froze, holding her flashlight steady. The light shook slightly in her hand. Anna stood close behind her, clutching the edge of her coat. "Who's there?" Lena called out. There was no answer, only the creak of old wood and the steady drip of water from a pipe. The air smelled like dust and mold. Somewhere in the shadows, something moved. Lena stepped forward slowly. "Come out," she said in a calm voice. "I know someone's there." A tall shape appeared at the bottom of the stairs. It was the deputy from the day before, the young man who had guarded the library. His face was pale. "Deputy Miles," Lena said. "You scared us. What are you doing here?" He swallowed hard. "I saw the lights on. Thought someone broke in." "You knew it was us," Lena said quietly. He looked down. "The sheriff sent me to keep an eye on things. He said you shouldn't be down here." Lena studied him carefully. "Did he tell you why?" He didn't answer. Lena took a slow step closer. "Deputy, you're too young to be part of whatever this is. If you know something, now's the time to tell me." He looked at Anna, then back at Lena. "You don't understand, Detective. People here, they don't forget. They don't forgive." Lena kept her voice calm. "What happened in this town, Miles?" He hesitated. "The fire. Everyone thinks it was an accident. It wasn't. My grandfather told me before he died. The mayor's family covered it up. A man was killed and a little girl was hurt. They buried the truth so the town wouldn't turn against them." Lena's grip on the flashlight tightened. "Who started the fire?" He looked away. "The mayor's father. They said the farmhand caused it, but he was the one who did it. He was drunk. The farmhand's daughter got trapped inside." Anna gasped softly. "The girl in the photo," she whispered. Lena nodded slowly. "So Evelyn found proof of that." Miles nodded. "She found the records. She came to the sheriff, but the sheriff told the mayor. That same night she was found dead." Silence filled the room. Lena stepped closer to him. "Why are you telling me this now?" He looked scared. "Because I think they're watching me too." Before Lena could speak, a loud crash came from upstairs. All three turned toward the sound. The door above them slammed shut. Anna screamed. "Stay close," Lena said, pulling out her small flashlight again. "Miles, is there another way out?" He pointed toward a narrow door at the back of the basement. "There's an old tunnel that leads behind the library. It used to be a coal storage path." They hurried toward it. The floor was wet and uneven. The door creaked open, revealing a dark tunnel that smelled like earth. As they stepped inside, Lena heard footsteps again, slow and heavy, coming down the stairs. "Go!" she said. They moved quickly through the tunnel, their light bouncing off the rough stone walls. Anna was shaking, but she didn't stop. After a few minutes, they reached a small metal gate. Miles forced it open, and they stepped out into the cold night air behind the library. The rain had stopped, but the ground was slippery. They stood catching their breath. "Someone was in there," Anna whispered. "Yes," Lena said, "and I think I know who." She looked toward the mayor's house, where one window glowed faintly with light. They went to the inn and stayed in Lena's room. Miles sat by the window, still pale. Anna handed Lena the diary again. "Keep reading," Anna said. "There's more." Lena opened the next page. "I found proof in the town records. The fire was started on purpose. The sheriff at the time helped hide it. The families made money from the land after the farm burned down. The little girl survived but was sent away. Her name was Clara." Lena looked up. "Clara," she said softly. "Do you know anyone named Clara?" Anna shook her head. Miles frowned. "There's an old woman named Clara who lives near the woods." People call her crazy, but she's been here forever. Lena stood. We're going to see her. It was already after midnight, but Lena didn't care. The three of them walked through the quiet streets. The houses were dark. Only the street lamps lit the foggy road. Clara's house stood near the edge of the woods. It was small, with a broken fence and a roof that sagged. A candle flickered in the window. Lena knocked on the door. After a long silence, it opened. An old woman stood there, her hair white and her eyes sharp. A thin scar ran across her cheek, the same scar as the girl in the photo. Clara? Lena asked gently. The woman nodded slowly. Yes, who are you? My name is Lena Hart. I'm here about Evelyn Marsh. At the mention of the name, Clara's eyes filled with tears. She came here, she whispered. She found me. She said she was going to make them tell the truth. What truth? Lena asked. Clara motioned them inside. The house smelled of herbs and smoke. Old photos covered the walls. She sat in a chair and looked at them one by one. They said my father started the fire that killed my mother, she said softly. But it was the mayor's father. They made him the scapegoat. My father tried to tell everyone, but no one listened. He was sent away and I was left alone. Her voice shook. Evelyn found the proof. She showed me the documents. She said she'd tell the police. I begged her to leave town, but she wouldn't. She said the truth mattered. Lena felt a lump form in her throat. Do you still have the documents? Clara nodded. She stood slowly and went to a small chest in the corner. From it, she took out a bundle of papers tied with a string. Lena opened them carefully. They were old reports, police records, witness statements, and a signed confession from the original sheriff saying he was ordered to lie. This is it, Lena said softly. This proves everything. Clara looked at her with tired eyes. Be careful, detective. They'll come for you, too. Before Lena could answer, a noise came from outside, a car engine. Headlights flashed through the window. Miles moved to the door and peeked out. It's the sheriff, he said. And the mayor's with him. Lena's heart pounded. They must have followed us. Clara grabbed Lena's arm. Go through the back door, she said. There's a path through the woods. It leads to the old mill. You can hide there. Lena nodded and turned to Anna and Miles. Take the papers. Don't let them get them. They ran out the back door as the front door burst open. Voices shouted behind them. The flashlight beams cut through the dark trees. Anna stumbled, but Lena pulled her up. They didn't stop until they reached the mill, a tall, silent building by the river. The wooden boards creaked under their feet. They went inside and shut the door. The sound of rain started again. Anna sank to the floor, breathing hard. What do we do now? Lena looked toward the dark windows. We find a way to tell the world, she said. No more secrets. But as she spoke, she saw something move outside, a shadow by the riverbank. They were not alone. The night was dark and wet. Rain fell hard again, beating on the roof of the old mill. Lena Hart stood near the window, holding her flashlight off so the light wouldn't show outside. Anna sat beside Miles on the cold floor, both of them breathing fast. Outside, the sound of footsteps came closer. 2 flashlights moved through the trees. The voices of men cut through the wind. Check the mill, one voice said. They can't be far. It was Sheriff Dalton's voice. Lena motioned for the others to stay quiet. They didn't move. The only sound was the dripping of water through the broken roof. She crouched low and whispered, We need to get out before they come in. Miles nodded. There's a back door near the water wheel, he said. It's old, but it might open. They crept through the shadows. The floorboards creaked under their feet. Every sound felt too loud. A beam of light flashed through a window. There! Shouted the sheriff's voice. The front door banged open. Lena grabbed Anna's hand. Run! They rushed toward the back, slipping on the wet floor. The old door groaned as Miles pulled it open. Cold air hit their faces. Behind them, footsteps thundered closer. Stop! Shouted the sheriff, but they didn't. They ran out into the rain and down the muddy slope toward the river. Lena's heart pounded. She could hear the sheriff shouting to the mayor, his voice full of anger. Don't let them get away. The river was high and fast from the rain. Lena looked around quickly. There, she said, pointing to a small wooden bridge. They crossed it carefully, the boards shaking under their weight. When they reached the other side, they ran into the thick trees. The sound of the river and the rain hid their footsteps. After a few minutes, they stopped to catch their breath. Miles leaned against a tree, his face pale. "They won't give up," he said. "They can't let this come out." Lena nodded. "That's why we will make it come out. We have proof now." Anna opened her coat. Inside was the bundle of papers Clara had given them, wrapped in a plastic cover. "We can take this to the city police," she said. "They'll believe us." "Yes," Lena said. "But we have to get out of Willow Creek first." A sudden sound made them turn. A flashlight beam appeared through the trees again. "They're still coming," Miles said. "We have to move." They walked deeper into the woods, following a narrow path. The rain soaked their clothes and mud clung to their boots. The sky flashed with lightning, lighting up the twisted trees for a second, then leaving darkness again. After an hour, they reached a small cabin near the edge of the forest. The roof was half broken, but it looked empty. "We'll rest here," Lena said. "Just for a little while." Inside, it was cold and damp. She found an old lantern and lit it. The soft light made the shadows dance on the walls. Anna sat down, hugging her knees. "I never thought this town could be so cruel," she whispered. "Everyone pretends to care about each other." "That's how secrets live," Lena said. "People hide them behind kindness." Miles sat near the door, watching through a crack. "I can't believe Sheriff Dalton is part of this." "I trusted him." Lena looked at him. "You can still do the right thing now." He nodded slowly. "I will." For a while, they sat in silence, listening to the rain. Then Lena took out the diary again. The last few pages were wet, but still readable. "I think they know I found the truth. The sheriff came to see me tonight. He told me to stop asking questions. I told him I wouldn't. If anything happens to me, it will be because of them." Lena closed the diary. "She knew," she said softly. "She knew they would come for her." Anna wiped her eyes. "She died for the truth. We can't let that be for nothing." Suddenly, the sound of a car engine came from the distance. Headlights flashed through the trees. "They found us," Miles said. Lena blew out the lantern. "We'll split up," she said. "They can't catch all of us." "No," Anna said quickly. "We stay together." But Lena shook her head. "It's the only way. Miles, take Anna to the old train station on the East Road. It's abandoned. Wait for me there. I'll draw them away." Miles looked unsure, but Lena's voice was firm. "Go, now." He took Anna's hand, and they slipped out the back of the cabin into the trees. Lena waited a moment, then ran in the opposite direction, her flashlight off. She moved quietly through the woods until she reached the road. A car stopped ahead. Sheriff Dalton and Mayor Grayson got out. Their flashlights cut through the rain. "She can't have gone far," the mayor said. His voice was calm, but his eyes looked cold. "Let me handle this," the sheriff muttered. Lena hid behind a tree, watching them. The mayor's words carried through the air. "We built this town with our hands, Tom. We gave people homes, work, peace. You think I'll let some outsider ruin that?" "She won't ruin it," the sheriff said. "But we can't let her talk either." Lena's heart burned. They had no shame, no regret. She stepped out of the shadows, flashlight pointed at them. "It's over," she said. The sheriff froze. The mayor turned, his face tightening. "Detective Hart," he said, forcing a smile. "You should have left when you could." "Evelyn Marsh didn't die in vain," she said. "I have her diary, and I have the papers that prove everything." The mayor laughed softly. "Do you really think anyone will believe you? This town stands because of me, because of my family. Then it will fall the same way," she said. The sheriff raised his gun. "I don't want to do this, Hart." Lena didn't move. "Then don't." Lightning flashed again, and in that moment she threw her flashlight straight at him. It hit his arm and the gun fired, the sound echoing through the rain. Lena ducked behind a rock. The mayor shouted, "Get her!" She ran into the trees, the wet branches hitting her face. She didn't look back. The sound of gunfire faded behind her. She followed the narrow path toward the old train station. Her legs ached and her coat was torn, but she kept going. Finally, through the fog, she saw the shape of the train station. The roof had caved in, and weeds grew through the floorboards. Anna and Miles were waiting inside, both wet and scared. "Did you lose them?" Anna asked. "For now," Lena said. "But we don't have much time." Miles held up a small radio. "I called for help," he said. State police are coming from the next town. They'll be here soon. Lena nodded, relief washing over her. Good. Keep those papers safe. They waited in silence. The sound of sirens began to echo faintly in the distance. But before they could relax, headlights appeared again on the road outside. They're here, Lena whispered, and they came first. The final confrontation was about to begin. The headlights grew brighter as the car stopped outside the broken train station. Rain still fell, soft and steady, making the roof drip like a slow clock. Lena stood near the door, her heart beating fast. Anna and Miles hid behind an old bench, clutching the bundle of papers. The car doors opened. Sheriff Dalton stepped out first, gun in hand. Mayor Grayson followed, his face hard and cold. "It's over, Detective," the sheriff shouted. "You can't win." Lena stepped forward slowly. Her coat was soaked and her hair clung to her face. "You already said that once," she replied. "But I'm still standing." The mayor moved closer, holding a flashlight. "Give me the papers and we can forget all this," he said calmly. "You'll leave this town tonight, alive." Lena shook her head. "You lied for years. You killed to keep your secret. I won't let you do it again." The sheriff's voice broke slightly. "You don't understand, Hart. It wasn't supposed to go this far. Evelyn, she wouldn't stop. She was doing her job," Lena said sharply. "And so was I." The sound of sirens grew louder now, closer. Red and blue lights flickered faintly through the rain. The mayor's eyes widened. "You called them," he said quietly. "Yes," Lena said. "State police. They're on their way. It's over." For a second, no one moved. The rain filled the silence. Then the sheriff turned toward the mayor. "You said no one would ever find out," he said, his voice shaking. The mayor glared at him. "You were supposed to handle it." Lena saw her chance. "It's not too late, Sheriff," she said. "Put the gun down. Tell them the truth." He looked torn. The rain ran down his face like tears. "You think they'll forgive me?" he asked quietly. "Maybe not," Lena said. "But you'll be free." The sirens were close now. The mayor saw it too. His calm mask broke. "You fool!" he shouted at Dalton. "She'll ruin everything." Before Lena could react, the mayor grabbed the gun from Dalton's hand and pointed it at her. "You should have left, Detective," he hissed. "No one destroys my family." Lena stood still, her hands raised. Behind her, Anna gasped. Then a voice shouted from outside. "Police!" "Drop your weapon." The mayor froze. Flashlights and voices filled the night as state officers surrounded the station. He turned toward the sound, confused for a split second, and that was all it took. Lena lunged forward, knocking his arm aside. The gun went off, the shot echoing into the dark. The mayor stumbled, slipping on the wet floor. The gun slid across the ground and landed near Miles, who kicked it away. Sheriff Dalton fell to his knees, his face pale. "It's over," he whispered. "It's finally over." The officers rushed in, shouting orders. Two men grabbed the mayor, who was still struggling weakly. Another officer took the sheriff's gun. Lena stepped back, breathing hard. Anna clung to her arm, crying softly. The lead officer looked at her. "Detective Hart?" "Yes," she said. Her voice was calm again. "You'll find everything you need in that bundle. Records, letters, confessions, all of it," the officer nodded. "We'll take it from here," the mayor shouted as they pulled him outside. "You think this town will thank you?" he yelled. "You think they want the truth? They'll hate you for it." Lena stared at him. "Maybe," she said quietly. "But at least they'll be free." He glared at her one last time before the police led him away. Outside, the storm began to ease. The first light of dawn touched the sky, soft and pale. The rain slowed to a drizzle. Sheriff Dalton stood by the door, his hands shaking. "I never meant for her to die," he said. Evelyn just wouldn't stop. "The mayor said he'd destroy my family if I didn't help." Lena looked at him sadly. "You chose the wrong side, Tom." He nodded, tears mixing with rain. "I know," the officers took him too. Soon the flashing lights faded down the road, and only silence remained. Anna stood beside Lena, holding the damp diary in her hands. "Is it really over?" she asked softly. Lena looked toward the trees where the fog was lifting. "Almost," she said. "The truth is out. That's all that matters now." They walked back to the inn as the sun rose slowly behind the hills. The town was quiet. People peeked from windows as the police cars passed, whispers already starting to spread. At the inn, the woman at the desk looked frightened. "Detective Hart," she said. "What happened last night?" "We saw the lights." Lena gave a tired smile. "The truth came out." The woman's eyes widened. "So it's true then?" "About the mayor?" Lena nodded. "It's all in the police's hands now." Anna sat down in the corner, her face pale but calm. "What will happen to the town?" she asked. Lena looked out the window at the gray sky. "It will heal, slowly. Secrets always poison the ground they're buried in. But now it can grow again." For a long time, no one spoke. The smell of fresh bread from the bakery drifted through the open door. Life was already starting to move again, as if the town itself was trying to breathe after a long silence. A few hours later, Lena stood by the river where it had all begun. The morning sun sparkled on the water. She could see the spot where she had found the box buried in the mud. The ground was calm now, but she still felt the weight of what had been hidden there. She opened Evelyn's diary one last time and read the final line. The truth is never quiet. It waits, it listens, and one day it speaks. Lena closed the book gently. "You were right, Evelyn," she whispered. It spoke. She placed the diary in her bag and turned to go. Anna stood on the bridge, waving. "They're asking for you at the station," she called. Lena smiled faintly. "I'm coming." As they walked together through the small town, the sun broke through the clouds for the first time in days. Children ran along the street, and the baker opened his door wide. The flower shop had new blooms in the window. The town that had once been full of secrets was beginning to wake up again. Anna looked at her. "Will you stay?" Lena shook her head. "My work here is done. There are other towns, other truths waiting to be found." Anna smiled sadly. "I'll miss you," Lena smiled back. "You'll be fine. Keep Evelyn's memory alive." When the bus arrived that afternoon, Lena climbed aboard. She looked out the window as it rolled away, the streets of Willow Creek fading into the distance. The town looked peaceful again, but she knew peace was never the same after the truth comes out. She took out her notebook and wrote one last line before closing it. Case closed. A town full of secrets, finally free. The bus drove on toward the open road, leaving the misty hills behind. The sun shone brighter now, breaking through the clouds completely, and somewhere far behind her, Willow Creek began to heal. The truth finally came out, and Willow Creek would never be the same again. The lies, the fear, and the silence had held the town for too long. Now the rain had stopped, and the sun touched the river where the secrets were buried. Detective, Lena Hart left with the knowledge that justice had been done, and that peace, no matter how fragile, had returned. Some wounds take time to heal, but truth is the first step. And though Willow Creek's story has ended, its lesson remains clear. No town, no matter how small, can hide its secrets forever. Subscribe to Crime Loom, and join us as we unravel more heists, mysteries, and untold legends.